We freaking love superhero. There's something so interesting with all those costume characters that make most of them a blast to read. But believe it or not, there was a time where Iron Man and Shazam were barely even known by the general public. It's crazy to think today that most of the superheroes we know and love were only known and loved by a small group of people. And some of those characters have been around for around 50 years. Great characters were left aside, underrated, undervalued. But eventually they were seen for what they truly are and reached millions of people in the process. So what we want to do today is try to bring forward characters that we feel deserve more attention and that maybe will reach you the same way they did with us.
The character also won't be in order of quality, like the number 3 isn't necessarily a better character than the number 4, it just means that we consider the number 3 to be a bit more underrated. So if you are good with that, let's start the video. Coming all the way from Mars, number 5, we have the Martian Hunter. A character that is in a particular spot, not because he isn't used by DC. He is in fact in a lot of show and movie, but the problem is that in those movie or show, he is always sidelined, like he barely talked, if he talked at all, in the latest DC movie, except the really good Man of Tomorrow, where he was pretty good in it, and the show Supergirl, where they nerfed the character so much that he became basically useless. And why does he always send Alex to help Supergirl when he can do everything she does, and more while still being able to lead the DEO with telepathy? I mean, can we just go back to the Justice League Unlimited day, when they did my boy some justice? I mean, he is as strong as Superman, all the while being a detective like Batman that can go through walls and use telepathy to read people's mind. He is OP, but at the same time, he struggles to open up to the people around him. He is not like Superman that hoped to inspire the people around him. He is a protector that observes the world from the outside, as he can't really be part of humanity, and that's why he is such an interesting character. But the only reason why he isn't higher on the list, it's because he is still in some good show like the Justice League cartoon and the excellent Man of Tomorrow movie.
Blasting their way at number 4, we have the colorful teenagers of Angel Grove. The Power Rangers. I know, just hear me out. As someone who watched the Power Rangers as a kid, I know how cringy they can be. But what I'm talking about here is not the TV show, but the amazing comic book series spawned from it. Go-Go Power Ranger and Mighty Morphin Power Ranger are two comic books based on the series that recontextualize everything about the series, adding multiple layers of depth to the character of the show. The Mighty Morphin Power Ranger comics managed to tell a cohesive action story that lead to grand superhero battle matching some of the best epic from other superhero media. While Go-Go Power Ranger tap into a more personal aspect of being a teenager superhero, with character conflict and introspective moment without being an overly dramatic CW story. Basically everything you love about a Spider-Man story, but that happened to multiple relatable teenagers. I would absolutely recommend reading at least Go-Go Power Ranger, which is my personal favorite. But Mighty Morphin is also totally worth it if you're more into epic superhero story. Trust me here, don't let the childish IP detour you from those great stories.
Coming out of Batman's shadow to number 3, Tim Drake is a character that seemed to struggle to get his groove as of late. There has been some attempt to make him the star of his own comic, or a part of a team that doesn't include Batman, with him becoming Red Robin, to then sorta turn back to being a Robin while still being called Red Robin, to now being called Drake, but DC never seemed to exactly know what to do with him. Even through all that, I still think that he is a really cool character nonetheless, that should have more screen time inside and outside of comic. At least he is still in some video game like Gotham Knight and the Arkham series. But for the best detective in the Bat family outside of Batman, a character in a situation really interesting where he is that smart, but is still far from being the best fighter in the Bat family, and is the only Robin who does not plan to do this all his life. He hasn't really been used all that much, you know, and it's a shame, because when he is used, he is a really cool character, like in the comic arc Battle for the Call, his first run as Red Robin, or in the first comic run of Detective Comic. He may not be the edgier Robin, or the funniest, but sometimes it's the relatable one that can be the most interesting, at least if they let him.
Riding the Cosmic Road to number 2 come the Cosmic Ghost Rider. The Cosmic Ghost Rider is Punisher that managed to acquire the power of Ghost Rider mixed with cosmic power similar to, let's say, the Silver Surfer. I know it sounds kinda weird, but trust me, he is one of the most fun and hilarious comic book character ever.
Everything about the Cosmic Ghost Rider I read was amazing. Okay, that was like 2 comic runs of 5 to 8 issue each, I think, but still, it was amazing.
I don't remember laughing harder than when I was reading his miniseries. It's really that good. His story mostly focused around hilarious space and time travel stuff, mixed with the introspective character study of the character of Frank Castle.
A version of him that has been all of that, but also an ally of Thanos, that has betrayed his code and became what he hated most, exploring how broken that made him and how he tried to fix it. Something that even all the power he got over the years can fix.
It's epic, it's funny, it has emotion, honestly it's so much fun to read. He really is one of the best new additions to the Marvel roster. This character is so good, his comics are must read. And this comic created one of the funniest alternative version of Spider-Man ever, man. You just go read it.
Plus, we got baby Thanos out of it.
Finally breaking her way from the fourth wall, placing herself at number 1, we have Gwenpool. Hear me out here, I know how bad it sounds. It sounds like a cheap stupid fusion between Gwen Stacy and Deadpool, but it's really not. Gwenpool is a normal Marvel fan from our world that got transported into the world of Marvel. And like any Marvel fan would after being transported to the Marvel universe, she gets a costume and is ready to become a hero. While frankly being a really funny comic book, the story also showed the harsh reality of being a comic book superhero with a lot of meta commentary on superhero stories. You see her start off as an underling to MODOK of all people and slowly turning into the person she's meant to be. I'm not exaggerating what I'm about to say. For me, she has one of the best story arcs I ever read in a single comic book run. And that's a lot. Also, the whole aspect of her knowing she's in a comic book and how it affects her judgment and the way she interacts with people is so much fun and is really refreshing to see. Because unlike Deadpool, she read the comic she is in, which add a different layer to her fourth wall breaking. It's truly a fun ride that gets really emotional toward the end. Gwenpool is as underrated as she's a great character. Do yourself a favor and pick up The Unbelievable Gwenpool. It's a really good, complete story that is totally worth it. So those are my pick for the top 5 most underrated superhero.
I mean, I helped you, but yeah, have at it.
Bro, if I was making a list about underrated hero, I had to let you whine about how they always do dirty your boy Martian Hunter. Like you always does.
Martian Hunter is a really cool character. I mean, he can do everything Superman can, but more. I don't see why they don't put him
again,
in
let's
more
just
stuff.
ignore him. Of course the list could be out there because there's a lot of underrated superhero, but we totally recommend you to try those 5 superhero which are really underrated and that you should not sleep on. And they really need more attention.
Now it's your turn to tell us who are the 5 most underrated superhero in your opinion, or any character that come from a comic book really.
So yeah, don't forget to give a like to this video if you enjoy and to subscribe, it will help a lot. Well, that's it. Peace out.
Thanks for watching guys. He is gone now I can talk about Martian Hunter. The guy is like so cool. Do you remember him in Justice League Doom? I think he was sick, man. I really like his introduction in Smallville, but then it kinda dragged and yeah.